If we were ever in court, we would expect our lawyers to fight and battle to win our case. What we wouldn't expect to see is hundreds of lawyers, armed with clubs and weapons, participating in a pitched battle on the streets of London with labourers. However, this is what happened in 1684 in London. Hi and welcome back to another episode of the Historical Crimes and Criminals podcast. It's another History Bite episode, and I'm Steve, your host. London was a city in ruins following the Great Fire of London in 1666. But for some, this was a perfect opportunity to prosper. Nicholas Barbon was born in 1640, and he was an economist and a property developer. Within a few years of the fire, he was the most prominent developer in London, building on largely plentiful land in West London. He became known for a bullish approach and disregard to legal objections, sometimes demolishing existing buildings without permission and then just rebuilding. Gray's Inn is one of the four inns of court belonging to London, alongside Lincoln's Inn, Middle Temple and Inner Temple. Established in the 14th century, these inns are a professional body to which all barristers in England and Wales must belong. They also provided offices and accommodation for the barristers. 1684 is the year where our story takes place. The winter was so severe that there was even a frost fair on the Thames. From December to February, the weather was so cold that even the Thames froze hard enough for a small town to be erected on it. John Evelyn describes it. The frost still continuing more and more severe. We saw booths being set up on the Thames, like a small market. All sorts of trades happened there. People even took the opportunity to print their name on the Thames. There were sleds, horse and coach races, even puppet plays. So in this year, Barbon commenced the redevelopment of Red Lion Square. The site was adjacent to Gray's Inn, and to say the lawyers were unhappy with his plans was to put it mildly. The lawyers took their case against Barbon to court, arguing that if the fields were developed, this would result in a loss to their wholesome air and be detrimental to their health. They tried various tactics to legally block or halt the building. However, as the land had been purchased legally, they lost these cases. The lawyers then decided on the most unorthodox approach to stopping the building work. On the 11th of June, 1684, the spectacle of over 100 respectable lawyers shouting and waving clubs, rushing from their court towards the building site, must have been quite a surprise to Barbon and his builders. Soon, a pitched battle took place, with bricks being thrown back and forth. The natural strength of the builders soon got the edge over the lawyers. With injuries mounting on both sides, the lawyers made their retreat, dragging their injured colleagues. No one was killed. The lawyers must have presented quite the sight over the coming weeks, with numerous barristers turning up to cases with broken limbs, facial injuries, black eyes. Barbon thereafter hired some well-armed men to protect the site from further attacks and damage. The first leases in Red Lion Square were granted in 1686, and ironically, some of the early tenants were the same lawyers from Gray's Inn. Red Lion Square is also the reputed final resting place of Oliver Cromwell. After Cromwell had died in 1658, he was interred at Westminster Abbey. However, after the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, Charles II decided to take revenge on many of the men who had signed his father's death warrant and had them hung, drawn and quartered. But he didn't stop with the living, and in 1661 he had Cromwell's, his son-in-law Henry Ayrton, and the judge John Bradshaw's by now dead bodies disinterred. They were posthumously tried for treason, with their bodies being hanged at Tyburn. They were then gibbeted before being beheaded and their bodies thrown in a pit on the site of Red Lion Square. Cromwell's head was publicly displayed on a pole outside Westminster Hall until 1685. Cromwell was accredited to the saying, "warts and all." Back when portrait painters perhaps took a flattering view on people, Cromwell famously said, "Paint me, warts and all." Nicholas Barbin started London's first fire insurance business. If you purchased insurance, then a plaque was sited on your property. Then, if there was a fire, the firefighters would attend, but only try and put out the fire if your house displayed the plaque and was therefore insured. Over 5,000 householders signed up. Barbin died in 1698, a rich man. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this History Bite episode, and if you did, please subscribe, leave a review, and join me on Twitter and Facebook on the Historical Crimes and Criminals podcast. I've been Steve, your host. Till next time, bye bye.